Hello, guys. How you doing? Some muggy, hot, and gross here. It's disgusting. Um. So Matt Walsh just did a show, a little skit or whatever about he was canceling all these TikTok kids because they're complaining about our society, um, and they're young, so they're not putting it quite into the proper words. They're really close, but they just don't know how to quite express. They haven't quite put their finger on it yet. They know that the system's failed them and that it's broken, and and whatever, but they don't exactly know what it is that's failed them. So and it's not their fault. They went through that broken education system that we all pay for, and learned nothing. So of course they don't know how to express themselves. Um, they learned how to express other people's opinions at best. Um, Regurgitate. They're like parrots, a lot of them. Anyhow, that's the best of them. These kids are actually awake souls looking for a better way, and they're able to see that this system is just a fucking joke. It's trash. And now they're blaming capitalism, which is wrong. Capitalism is the way. See, we had systems in place like monopoly laws and stuff like this to keep people from getting too big and owning over everything, right? And then over time, um, they've come up with loopholes, and all these crooked politicians that, or stupid, a lot of them, are not stupid, foolish, right? Naive. Um, when Satan comes at you and gives you a proposition through a person or through whatever, um, it's always pretty. The packaging is always beautiful. Um, I've had a lot of them, and I'm able to see. I've been able to see through a bunch with my defenses up, and because Jesus is at the throne of my heart and commands all my choices, all my decisions, which makes all the best choices and decisions for everybody that I love. Because Jesus loves them too. He loves them more than I do. He loves them more than I'm capable. So when he's guiding my choices, they're going to be more loving towards the people than I like. I'm about to leave and sell the van off, go. Um, Chances are I'm going to sell the van cheaper than what I should, because I'm going to find the right person for it, and I'm going to be more concerned about that than money. And I was looking at selling all my tools and stuff like that, and whatever. I'm not going to. I'm going to give them all away to a friend of mine who's been helping me out while I've been here in Kingston, who is also a carpenter and will be able to utilize those tools to better his life and his kid and whatever, and his ex and even my son, because he's his uncle, right? So it's win-win for everybody. And it's God, that Jesus, that made that choice. It wasn't me, right? I was making the choice to sell things, and Jesus was like, no, this is what we're doing. And his messages are subtle, but if you can step back from the world, and that's the other thing that the kids were talking about, that they didn't really understand how to say it. But our society, you actually become trapped by your possessions, and they hold you in check, kind of thing. So getting rid of them, downsizing, is actually freeing, and you're able to really connect with Jesus better if you're free of all that stress, anxiety, and that 40-hour work week shit, right? Like, I've been doing with this a lifestyle of a 40-hour work week guy, or better, with a part-time job. And I can have bad weeks where I only get 1 or 2 shifts or whatever, or shift and a half, or what, and don't fucking matter. That's enough. That'll pay all my bills at the end of the fucking month. That's everything's low and easy income. And if I lose my job tomorrow, well, I might have like a bit of visa debt right now, but it's not much. It's a couple $100. It's not thousands. And worst thing that's going to happen to me is in a couple of months, when my savings runs out or whatever, I'll not have a phone plan or something like that, right? Or I won't have gas for the truck to move around anymore. But I won't be losing the truck to some fucking bank. They're not going to come and repossess any fucking thing I own. It's all mine. And nobody has that. When you live in an apartment and you lease your car, you don't have that. You don't have that fucking ownership of something that where you can feel like, okay, well, worst case, like my mortgage is paid off. All I have to do now is feed myself. Well, no, you got to pay your property taxes and fucking all this other bullshit that comes along with it. And depending on where it is, water and sewer, and even if it's in the woods and you got like a well and stuff, you got to have power, and then you still have to have your septic pumped out every couple of years or whatever, and that's not cheap. It's not breaking the bank, but I mean, it's whatever. It's $800-900, whatever, depending on your tank size and where your location is and all that kind of stuff. But it must be 5 or 6 for a medium sized house tank now. It was a couple hundred before COVID. So, and that was years before COVID. So by now it would be up easily double, probably triple. So that's the other thing. Inflation's been going fucking insane. And then we all got teased. We had Trump for like 2 years or whatever. Trump policies and Trump. So we all got to kind of see just a glimpse of what we should have. And not even, because he was nowhere's near fixing the fucking problems. But just with that much fucking tiny of a fucking better politician difference in the office, made enough difference that America wasn't in a war. So all that money wasn't fucking being spent. And they stopped importing energy and gas and started to make energy and fuel in the country. So it was cleaner energy and fuel because it was being made within the country with the regulations that were required within the country. And it was, so therefore it made fucking our fuel costs went way down. And once the fuel costs went down, all costs went down. Everything fucking follows that fuel price because you got to pay the truck. You got to fuel the truck. You got to fuel the factory. You got to fuel the fucking tractor at the farm. You got to fuel everything. Fuel is our heart. It's our blood. Life is in the blood. It's our blood. We need it. And then Biden comes in and destroys it, and puts us into a worse situation than if we never had Trump at all, with the things he did. And like I said, we can have Republicans voted in all right across Canada, US, whatever, and things will get better than they are now. But they won't be what they should be. Not even close. Like, we should be printing our own money. Right? But that kind of talk gets presidents killed. But there's no reason that there should be a national debt. Right? And without that phony debt, they wouldn't be able to extort all this tax money out of you and then not pay on the debt. They make the debt bigger every year. They're extorting all this money, but they don't know how to manage it because they didn't work for it. It's like when a man and a woman get married in their later years, and let's say he came in or she came in with a bunch of possession into this new marriage, and they get together, and usually it's the man and the woman that doesn't own it, but it can be the other way around. And then so the other spouse now has this new lifestyle and all this possession that they didn't work for. So they have no understanding of how hard it was to get there and what it takes to own that. And so they mismanage it. Right? And they'll think in their mind, they're saying, fuck, look at the improvements that I'm going to make around here. I'm going to make this place so cute. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And not thinking about the cost of all that or the cost reduction in some cases. My parents' house was subdivided into an apartment. And when my sister moved in, she put the stairs back in and took over the whole house. And anyway, and ended up losing it to the bank or whatever. Or, well, not to the bank. They sold it or whatever, but to pay mortgages. But all because she didn't understand the back work of getting to that house. She just got placed there and looked after and given everything. And lottery people, same thing. They win the lottery. They don't know money management. Well, politicians, same damn thing. Especially guys like Joe Biden, who've been politicians their whole lives. That shouldn't be allowed. You should have to have a career block, like a big block of career, like 10 years in the workforce before you're allowed to be a politician. Just standard practice. That's what the fuck. Go do something. Go see what it's like to do something and to have to earn your money and to watch it be stolen by politicians before you're allowed to be one of those money laundering politicians. You blood sucking leeches. How did that break down? Poly means many, and tick is a blood sucking animal. Politicians. Many blood sucking creatures. So Matt canceling these kids because they don't know how to put it into words quite properly, how our system is fundamentally broken and needs to be. What we really need, here's a solution, is nub all these bylaws and try-laws and all this bullshit. Just throw all that shit right out and go back to the basics. Just the Bill of Rights in Canada. And politicians, if your job in government isn't to do with those things, then it's going to be private. And if it doesn't need to be, perfect. Go find another job. Right? Like if it, we don't need to study to see if it takes people with kids longer to get ready in the morning than people without kids. They spent millions of dollars on this study. The Canadian government did. And, well, you could never get an answer to that because people are so different. Right? So I have a cousin of mine and her husband. They're both disorganized chaos and just, she's better than him, but neither of them are great when it comes to that. They're really great at like money management and other different things, and they do well together. But when it comes to getting ready to actually go out and do something, they're the worst. It takes them forever. And now that they've got kids, forget about it, right? Unless it's something really cool like that Chris and I are going to do, and we're not taking any of them, and then he can get ready quick, and him and I'll run, because he knows if he doesn't run, he'll be stuck there. And anyways, getting ready forever. Anyway, but and then I get ready quick, and I'm organized. I know where my shit goes. I always put things in the same spot all the time, so I always know where everything is. I don't even have to really look. I could almost be blind. Not really. I have much respect for the blind. I can't imagine what they go through, and I like, not what they go through, but like that difference in lifestyle and how that would be. I test myself with it once in a while, and it's they're phenomenal. That's great. But anyways, but I can grab things without looking, and just I know where that shit is. And a couple things have two places. My hat, things like that. It kind of gets away from me once in a while. But most things, all the time. So I'm always ready, quick. And even when I had the wife and stuff, she wasn't quite as quick as me, but she could get ready fairly quick, and I would help her. Not with her shit, not with the makeup-y shit or whatever, but I would find all the other accessories and everything that we needed for the fucking trip, and I would get it all into the fucking car, and then I'd be telling her, okay, your purse is in the car already. I got your IDs in there. You have this in there. Your cards are there, everything's checked, and your sunglasses are in there, and whatever. I got the lunch packed, and I got the fucking this figured out, and the cell phone, the chargers, make sure everything else is done, so that all she had to do was her shit. Makeup-y, fucking hair did, whatever the fuck girl stuff, pick out clothes and whatever. But, and then double check things, obviously. So it's just a difference in people. Blah. Fucking talk forever there. Wasted millions of dollars. I forget how many millions it was. A long time ago that I heard this. This was when I listened to the radio, so it would have been like before, around 2015 or before. I don't really remember when I quit that. But that's the other thing. For these kids, you want change, you want all this, you want that, you don't like this society, you want to reject it. Well, my life is a good example of that. So, at first, right away, I got rid of my house internet cable, and I quit fast food restaurants altogether. Any big chains. I'll go to mom and pop shops. I go to like Greek Town and stuff. Greasy Bob's, we called it back home, but it's Bob's Restaurant. Little places like that, perfect. Big chain ones, no, not doing it. Don't do movies anymore, television, any of that shit. No mainstream stuff. If I do, I'll try to watch shit that I've already got downloaded from years ago, and really, I just don't. I watch church services. I'll listen to a book on tape, or I'll do anything, go for a bike ride. Anything but watch this stupid idiot box and listen to their commercials. Got rid of the radio in my truck. I never turn the radio on. It sounds foreign to me now when I do hear it. The cigarettes I quit. Drinking, booze, quit that. I quit pork, but whatever. That was health reasons. Pork's horrible for you. It's why you catch colds. Eating your pork all the time, especially at breakfast time and shit. Every time I have something pork and like break my rule, I'll get a cold or sniffles, feel something not right. It's not good for you. There's a reason that God says don't eat shellfish and fucking bottom feeders and pork and all these. They're not clean, unclean animals. You don't eat that shit. It's like eating a dog. You just don't. And do you know how smart pigs are? You talk about like, well, we don't eat pets. Well, yeah, you do. Pig is a pet. You can have a pig that plows your fields and manures and does all that shit, and you can train that fucker. So he comes when he's called and all that kind of stuff. You might have to put like a little. We used to do this with our cows and shit too. Just put a rope on them with like a tire on it or a rim, and he can pull that sucker all around with him wherever he wants to go, but it keeps him from going into the woods anywhere, and because he's going to get fetched up right away, and then you can go get him, bring him up, and so he learns, I don't go in the woods, I stay here, and pigs will learn that shit fast, like dogs. Pigs will learn everything a dog will. Sit, stay, lay down, fucking all that shit. Come when they're called, learn their property, learn the boundaries, probably even get a watch pig if you fucking wanted to put the time into training them, right? So, yes, you guys eat pets just like the Chinese eat cats and dogs. You eat pigs. Same thing. Gross. I understand, though. I'll tell you. I had bacon recently by accident. I burned myself with bacon grease, and I went like this. And, like, with the burn, right? Put it in my mouth. but my hand was still had like a puddle of fresh bacon grease on it, and that hit my tongue, and I had like flashbacks and memories of bacon for all the bacon I ever ate in all my life, right back to when I was a little tiny kid, and could remember making bacon with my old man on the stove when I was a child and stuff. You like that fresh bacon? Yeah, unsmoked shit. It's gross. Um, and that's the other thing. When pork's unsmoked and not treated, it's not that good. So it's not something you wouldn't want a ham if it wasn't smoked. Most people don't like bacon if it's not smoked. Well, it's more like a pork chop, right? So if if you're really into pork chops, you would like that. And but you don't dress it like, you don't just fry it up like bacon. You fry it like a pork chop. You put your spices on it and flavor that shit up. It's bland. Dry. Bacon's not dry. It's still full of fucking all the fat, which is disgusting because pigs don't sweat. So all that fat is full of everything fucking pig ate. Yeah. They eat everything. You never know. Buddy was fucking feeding prostitutes to his pigs for years up here in Canada and selling them all over the meat market or whatever. He had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pigs. He was doing prostitutes and throwing them in there and letting the fucking pigs eat them. Psycho murderer guy. Anyhow, blah blah blah. Fuck. So Matt, can't believe I actually remembered. You, my friend, today are canceled. No, I'm just joking. You're fucking awesome, man. I love you to death. But you don't really see what we see day to day. You're out of it now. You're in a better position and you got a better life. And I understand that, and I think that's great. I love capitalism. And I think your advice was great at the end of the video that you did today too, like to buckle up, kids, and start figuring stuff out. Get good at things, learn projects, learn life, learn whatever you can do, and get out there and work for it. I do. I don't just slack off and live in the van. I am trying to find a different life. I don't want free time. I hate free time, but I want to just work for God. I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want to work for myself. I don't want to work for my kids. But yeah, I do. But I want to work for God, and in full capacity. So I've been studying and learning and reading and doing all the things, doing all these videos, talking to you guys and stuff, trying to convince people. I have this opportunity with the sailboat. I think it's going to be wonderful to go sail around. My favorite part is taking Bibles to islands in the Pacific Ocean and talking to people about God. I'd just rather do that the whole time. If we can make money somehow and just do that sail around the world. Arr, the pirate life for me, laddie. We go around the world and sail for Christ. Buckaroo. I keep doing that voice thinking about the sailing thing, and I'm going to put some money into silver, I think. And so I'm always talking, oh, I need to get me silver doubloons and I'll bury them in the sand in somewhere. Have me buried treasure. My buried treasure, the treasure, will be mushrooms and pot buried here in Canada somewhere, probably. Um, but but I think that's fun and funny. And I'm sorry if you can't quite hear everything. My holder broke, so now I gotta set the phone on the speaker, which sucks. Anyhow, have a great, wonderful day. God bless.